You look great. You sound great. And you look amazing,
That's-
brother. You look
Thank
amazing.
you, thank
Yes.
you, thank you.
So, just want to make sure we check in with you. Commissioner Corner podcast is based on giving guys, like yourself, platform to educate not only our younger generation but our older generation about about the quality of work of basketball that we do as commissioners. Not only from BG running down the whole entire Lower East Side and what I do in the Bronx, New York, but you all the way to LA, across the world. So I just want to welcome you to our podcast, the Commissioner Corner.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Looking forward to this.
Good. So we'll go right into it, man. I know we had a pandemic last year. We're getting ready for 2021. Just want to know what your plans were for the Drew League and what you got, stirring up in the pot in LA.
Well, our plan is to play, and maybe a little different because we may be outdoors for the first time for the Drew League
Right.
because of the pandemic and the restrictions that we have um, here in California. But we are planning to put some basketball out there, whether it's indoor or outdoors. Our sponsor Nike wants to build out of court, and we're also looking to do some 3-on-3s with Red Bull, and just to keep the Drew name going because last year, without basketball, man, that was the first time in 47 years that we didn't play, and the community felt that.
Yes. And then we
Right.
all felt that likewise. So yeah, BG.
Yeah.
Nah, speaking on community, talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you guys did at the Jew League. Y'all do so much great grassroots and community work, outreach stuff. Just give our viewers on the East Coast some of the dynamic things that you guys did to give back and to help out during this crisis and this pandemic that we had last year with coronavirus.
Yeah, with the COVID, we just decided to get out there in the community and give back and to assist those. We teamed up with the fire department, delivering food. We also, did our turkey drive, assisted by Montrez Harrell and Jordan Bell. Gave out over 300 turkeys. We just kept doing things, even during, because Drew has played during the summer. But we also have a women's league that runs in October, and we have the 40 and over that runs in October. So we were kind of doing stuff completely year round, from Christmas dinners with the social distancing. But we were able to impact the community, and we were able to still have our scholarship gala where we gave out, scholarships to about 20 kids on their way to school. And it's just great that we were able to do that and stay active.
So I gotta ask you, Dino. I know your lineage in basketball runs deep. Uh, can you let us know about your basketball roots and did you play basketball and what were those roots? And can you give us a little background history on how LA basketball was back in not only when you were growing up, but in terms of how you was able to kind of just propel the league when you was able to get it in your grasp.
Well, yeah, I grew up. I actually went to Drew Middle School, played a little middle school basketball, but that pretty much ended my career in middle school. High school, I didn't play any ball, but I watched. I watched a lot of things going on how to program. I watched how to organize. I watched how to, just how to put things together to bring a community together. And I was one of the youngest commissioners to do this, and people were kind of, didn't really believe I could take over from the original owner, Alvin Wills, but he held it from 73 to 83, and I took it from there, and it's just been great, and that's what we do. I mean, we just keep going, and no matter what's happening, we almost folded, during the strike season, during the lockout. We were going to fold out and let it go. And we were able to see these guys enter the gym from all over the country, and kind of saved us that year. And we've been riding pretty good since then.
Nice.
Yeah,
So talk to us a little bit about the Drew League and it being indoor pro-am. Out on the East Coast, man, we love street basketball. We do it concrete, the blacktops, and that's kind of how our summer leagues are run. But talk to us a little bit about the Drew League being indoors. And did it always start indoors, or was that something that you guys wanted to propel and present that type of style of basketball to LA?
Well, yeah, Drew has always been indoors. We played pickleball outdoors, which was great. From homeroom basketball to just after school basketball was always done on the blacktop.
Right.
But then in the evenings, we would go inside to the gym after school. And so the gym just became a haven for us. It was safe and we were indoors with our coaches and everything. So we just continued to play on weekends indoors. And most of Southern California is indoor basketball, but a lot are outside. One of the biggest ones outside is Venice Beach courts. But Drew has always been that place where we emulate the NBA to the potential of players being able to get jobs and things because they're used to the style of play that the Drew League brings.
So, with that being said, I mean, I don't want to use the word struggles, but in terms of a commissioner and a CEO, and you becoming one of the youngest commissioners, can you share with the fans listening in terms of how we talk, right? Like, what are those struggles in becoming a commissioner, a CEO, somebody that needs to work with corporate and sponsors, but not only be with the community? What is it? What are the struggles running a league? And were there any struggles in South Central LA during your time in terms of creating this league and making it positive for the community?
Well, with the league itself, there's always struggles, and the struggle that we always would encounter is the one thing about outdoors. You guys may not encounter this, but we have to pay for these permits for these gyms, and
Same here.
these permits get a little costly, and then the game kind of changes because now they're kind of, the schools and parks are starting to like really dig into you, and especially if you get a sponsor. If you get a sponsor, it's like it's just open, and and we were always struggling with that. We didn't have a sponsor. Basically, with our league fees, we paid the permit. The players paid the referees. There were no uniforms, just T-shirts with the marker on the back. You mark your T-shirt number, and and there was no score clock. There was a lot of things that we didn't have, and we looked back how we made it because we were running into a brick wall in our gym. There was no padding on no support underneath the basket. So I don't know how we survived, and then we slowly started getting donors to come in and put up. We had wooden backboards all the way up until like 98, 99, inside of a gym where most of gyms had glass backboards. So we were one of the last ones to kind of get our gym updated. But man, the struggles is something else because you're also struggling with the players who can't pay their fees, but we can't do it for free. So this was the only way we can do these things. And man, it was tough back in them days. It was rough.
Nah, definitely, man.
I could imagine it.
Yeah, and I mean that's one of the key things we wanted to get commissioners to come on here because these guys sometimes think that we millionaires and we going in the door. So it's great to hear that from other commissioners. But talk to us a little bit about you talk about the struggles and you talk about getting a sponsor. Talk to us a little bit about some of your sponsors. Obviously, Nike being one of the major ones. Talk to us a little bit about the relationship with Nike and how they came in and was able to help the league out because a lot of people don't understand with these sponsorships they help the league run a lot better than what we are able to do sometimes.
Yeah, sponsorships plays a huge part, man. I mean, because when we got in with Nike, we really didn't understand the relationship, and it took us a while. We kind of I don't know, we kind of bumped heads quite a bit because they wanted to kind of control it, and we had been doing it our own selves for years to the point where I had to tell the representative from Nike that take his banners and everything else, and right in front of the whole crowd with the mic, and they could leave because we were going to survive with or without them. And I think after that, they kind of realized that Drew had his own brand, and we've been doing it, 30 years without you. So we weren't going to back down, and then the relationship started to flourish, and it became very well. We've been good with Nike, and Nike has been good to us, and we've been good to Nike. We had some other sponsors. We had Beyond Meat. We had some of the water companies and things like that, and NBA Players Association came in, and so we've had some pretty good sponsors, and it's been great. It's just been great, and what they bring to the table, we couldn't do. We couldn't do that. The funding just wasn't enough, so they came in, took care of referees, uniforms, permits. So it's been great.
Amazing.
So I know you mentioned your daughter is now the face of the league. In terms of that transition, how was it for you to set up these things in place for your daughter to now take over, the new league per se? Was it hard, and were those conversations with those sponsors very tough, and let them know that you do have a brand? And did you lose any opportunities with putting your foot down in terms of how this works?
Yeah, well, bringing my daughter in, it was a no-brainer. She had been around it since she was born, and she just took, when she graduated from Southern University in 07, and when she came back, she saw the wear and tear it was taking on me, and she just wanted to help. So she started doing that, and she started doing more and more. And then, with the social media and all the new stuff that they can do, I'll be 62 in August. I can't start over. So she's able to.
You don't look 62, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thank you, man. I'm trying to hang in here, man.
Hey, that's the LA weather. That's the LA weather. Don't get it twisted, all right?
Yeah. So she came in, man, and she's pretty much running it, and I just look over. I'm the CEO now, and she's the commissioner, and we got a great relationship, and when things are moving, and like I say, the players and coaches, sponsors, they respect her, and that's what I wanted when I stepped away, that she can get their respect, and she has.
Amazing. Talk us a little bit about who are some of the notable players that played in the Drew League. Me and Joe, we love the underdogs. We love to give guys who kind of don't have that, platform, or maybe the name, the stage to be able to showcase their talents. But talk to us a little bit about some of the notable players that came through the Drew League, and also get into maybe some of the NBA players that came in and touched the Drew League. Obviously, we know Kobe Mamba came through there, and James Harden, a bunch of the LA guys, DeMar DeRozan. But talk us a little bit about some of the other players that came in and made names for themselves in the Drew League.
Man, one of the main ones who made their name at Drew is Casper Ware Sr. and Casper Ware Jr.
Yeah.
And both of them dominated their era. I mean, just fantastic players, father and son. And then probably the most known one out of that group was, a young man by the name of Bad Santa, Kenny Bruner. Kenny Bruner was, yeah, Kenny was something else, and Kenny, Kenny could do his thing, and now one of the most celebrated players that we have now is Franklin Session. And he's the only person we've had to win 3 straight MVPs. He's playing great overseas, and the story about Franklin is really something. Franklin never wanted to go overseas. He was married, had 2 little girls, and he would just go and work his job, which he basically worked for AT&T selling phones. He would be in the mall, and you pass by him. He has little khakis on and powder blue shirt. Wouldn't think nothing about it during the day, But at 6 o'clock at night, he becomes Superman. And
Wow.
we all kept saying, Franklin, you gotta go get paid. So now he's doing great. He's got commercials. Nike takes care of him real well. He's got a beautiful home out in the suburbs now.
Mm.
I said, that's all it took. You got to play the game, man. They're gonna bring you back, to your AT&T job. They'll let you work it, but right now, go get the big money right now. So he's one of the great stories, and then of course our NBA guys from DeMar DeRozan and James Harden, Darrell Wright,
Mm.
and then of course one of the main ones was Baron Davis. Baron was the guy who really started bringing the NBA guys to the league.
Right.
Still part of the league. Sits on our board. Got Meta World Peace, and of course, KD's come through. We've had LeBron come through. We had the Black Mamba. We had those three guys 3 straight weekends, and I said the 3 best players in the world all showed up one after each other. And at the end, I was in the locker room because we brought Kobe in, by itself to play in that game, and we were in the locker room, and he said, "Tell him don't take it easy on me. I want somebody to push me."
Right.
So I went in the other locker room and I said, "Kobe wants a real game. Who's gonna go at him?" And James put his hand up and said, "I got his ass." And him and James Harden for about 3 years before Kobe retired had a great relationship, a great rivalry, and we've had all kind of players. A lot of times we laugh when we look at the Clippers and Lakers and say, "Hey man, it's about seven Drew League guys playing in this game today." So
we got a little video, Dean. I know you
yeah,
probably seen
there it
this
is, right
1,000
there.
times, but yeah, this is a classic.
Yeah,
So what gym is
yeah.
this, Dino? As we're looking at this.
This
What gym
is
is this?
this is Washington Park. This is Washington Park. This is our second gym. The original gym was Drew Middle School, and then we moved here. We was at Drew Middle School for about 30 years. We were at Washington Park for about 8, and then we've been at King Drew since then. But
which
man,
gym you like better? Which gym you prefer?
I kind of like King Drew.
Okay.
Because of the name. It's called King Drew High School. So they called King Drew, and they all are in the same area pretty much. They're only about Drew Middle School was great because it was hot. There was no air. There was nothing, and it was just a sweat box. And then we moved to Washington Park, had a little air conditioning, but it wasn't big enough. Then we moved to King Drew, and that's where we are now. And it's been great, and we're looking to stay at King Drew, but the lines are too long, and we're getting scared. People are passing out in that hot sun, and it's a little scary, man. So we may be we're looking at another college that we may end up going to.
Okay. So let's talk about what the league. And again, I have another part question, but I'm gonna go into this because you mentioned about having these gyms close proximity. Do you, can you stay and can you mention to us like the impact the league has during the month you operate in terms of crime and maybe poverty or things that are like things that you can kind of control within the time frame you're there? What are some of those things you feel that Drew League kind of impacts outside the game of basketball? And do you have any experiences to share with us in terms of that impact in terms of what you guys operate?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, all three gyms had their own unique story. Drew Middle School, for instance, we were there from the beginning, from '73. Well, when the LA riots hit, we were right there, and when the LA riots took place, everybody had to be off the streets by 7 p.m. It was crazy, and we were without basketball for about 2 weeks. Now, Drew Middle School sits inside of a gated school that's gated all the way around. And I reached out to the principal and asked the principal, was there any way that we said the community needs something. And we talked to her and she allowed us to play. And, the sheriffs, they were good with it because the one thing the sheriffs did say, is that when this league is going on, the crime rate is down, and it proved that. And so that's what took place there. It showed during the LA riots. And then we moved over to Washington Park. And Washington Park is a community park which is only about a 7-minute walk from Drew on the same street. We moved to Washington Park. Everything was good there, and it was fantastic. But we had the stars come through there, but then we had Game the Rapper, and this was a Crip park we're in, and Game wanted to play, so we had to kind of maneuver that, because with him being a blood, they were kind of looking to, and we kind of smoothed that out to the point where Game ended up playing, talking to the people, and it was cool. There was no, we were really proud of that because there was no fisticuffs, no threats, no anything. And then as we moved to King Drew, we're in there at King Drew, and everything's going well. And we look up, and here comes Snoop Dogg, here comes Nipsey Hussle, here comes all the rappers, Big Boy, and everything. And we're going, man, what is this? So they are there. Then a week later, we end up. Anytime you can get a Kardashian at your league, oh man, we got the Kardashians coming in, and they took a seat, and so it was just a, all three gyms just had a different story.
Let me ask you the next question. When these people come to your league, are you made aware of it, or you're more like, I don't know what's going on, they just pop up? Like, how does that go for you in terms of how you do your league and how you do your crowd control? How does that work for you as commissioner?
Well, a lot of times Nike seeds these celebrities, with product and stuff like that. The Kardashians popped up on their own because Khloe at the time was dating James. So she came with James. Iggy came with Nick. And I said, man, you guys bringing that. Iggy came with Nick. So it was just, usually we will know who's coming. But a lot of times it's just they walk in, man. I look up and and I see people sitting on the sideline and say, over there is, we sat there with, what's the guy, Quavo, and he was sitting there, and next to Quavo was Flea, from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I'm going, these guys are all in the hood, so yeah, they kind of pop in, man, and Flea bought a bunch of shirts and wanted to wear Drew gear and things, so
nice.
Yeah, it's so our goal is to get our goal is to get what's our guy name, the big actor, but that always sit at the Lakers game.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. We want Jack because Jack loved basketball, and we almost had him one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We almost had him down there one time.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
That's a dime drop. Yeah, BG.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing, man. Those, and it's funny. I wanted to talk about Game and the impact he had on Julie. But you tapped into that, and that's amazing, man. Because as we run these leagues, me, Joe, and all of the guys in New York, it's the support from the fans and those celebrities. They bring such an impact to your tournament and to your league. So those are great stories. Talk to us a little bit about the blackout year, 2011. You guys had a face-off with the Goodman League, which was a classic. Talk to us a little bit about that experience and what went into that game, and how did from that game, how did you feel the league took another notch or another levels up after that?
Well, the way that was going is that Drew was receiving a lot of publicity, a lot of stuff going on, and Goodman was looking across the ways and thought they should be, in the same conversation. So Miles and I, we were talking back and forth, never met, just a lot of shit talking back and forth, and then Baron got on there and said, y'all need to come out here and we can settle this, and it was back and forth, but we weren't planning on going out there. And then what happened was KD came and played. And when the game ended, he came and played here. He was so happy playing. He was like, "Man, you guys need to come and play down on the courts with us." And so I was like, "Man, now y'all need to come in." So we went back and forth. So finally we said, "Okay, we'll go." Barron was mad that we were going. He said, "Man, y'all can't win down there." I said, "Well, we gonna go." And it was such, so we got a sponsor to get the airline tickets and the hotel rooms for us.
Right.
Not for the NBA guys, but for our staff and the non-NBA players. So we go out there, and we started losing players before we got there. Nick Young was supposed to play, but he was mad because he didn't get MVP. So he decided he's of the season. So he decided he's not coming. So we get out there, and we get there. It was a weird feeling because we were all out there. We had to check in and find out these guys made it. So we contact Brandon Jennings. He said, "I'll be there in 2 hours." James said he was already here. He's over at KD. Him and DeMar are hanging out with KD. I said, "KD's gonna set y'all up." So when you get ready to play, y'all ain't got no leg. He only got y'all drinking and smoking and everything. So they said, "No, we're gonna be okay. We'll be there." Because the game was the next day. So we started making our rounds out there to the university, man, and it was weird because when we pulled up, it was like we were like, "Where's this line at?" And it was like at 2 stop signs and a light, so it was about a half a mile deep. And we pull up, and our guys get out. Now we have a guy I forgot to mention, along with Frank Recession. We also have another legendary non-NBA guy. He goes by the name of Money Mike. So Money Mike gets out of the van, and these kids, the white kids are screaming and hollering, and we thought we were the Jackson 5 getting out the van. They knew all the players. So it was kind of weird. We went into the gym, into the locker room. They put us in the same locker room. So there's a lot of shit talking going on in there. I mean, it is brutal. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins just talking big time, telling Brandon, "Bring that shit in there and you ain't gonna come back. I'm gonna birth your ass." So it was so much stuff going on, and the game took place, and they jumped on us pretty good, and then we made a run, and we took the lead going into the fourth quarter, and all the Drew crowd that came out, they was going crazy. We were up by 4, and then they stuck us. I'll never forget how they stuck us. The way they did us was so cold. This game was going on, and I don't know if you remember Craig Smith. They used to call him Rhino with the Clippers. Craig, yeah. So Craig and JaVale McGee were our big guys. Okay. So Big Craig picked up 3 quick fouls in the first half. So we had to sit him. And for some reason, Marcus is still just whacking everybody. And so when we get to the fourth quarter with about 3 minutes to go, Marcus, we're counting the fouls. Marcus fouled out. So we said, that's 6. He got to go. And Miles turned to me and said, "Ain't no fouling out in Baltimore." I said, "Whoa." I said, "Y'all don't use the foul out rule?" "Not today." I said, "That's cold, man." I said, "That's cold. We've been subbing our guys out, protecting their foul." And so it was kind of funny because we did have a chance to win. James took a charge from KD, and it was so obvious a charge, and they called a block on James. And I'm gonna tell you this, I'll never forget this. They're teammates now. James went to take the ball out earlier in the game on the sideline. He was complaining about KD holding him. And this was when James was with OKC.
Right.
So, or he might have just got to, no, he was OKC. We on the sideline, he's ready to take the ball out. And I'm telling you, KD looked at him and said, "You know the pecking order." And I said, "Woo." He told him, "You know your place." And James didn't say nothing. And we all looked like, damn, KD talking shit, huh? So it was great, man. And then we finally got a shot off. We were down 1, and Brandon missed a 15-footer. So we lost by one, but great experience. When
Amazing.
we got back to LA, we flipped the table on them. So we brought everybody. We almost had Kobe playing. Everybody wanted to play that game. Kobe couldn't make it, but he wanted to play. It was like bring out anybody that stepped on Drew's court was playing tonight. So they were coming from everywhere. So it was a great experience with that game.
So my brother and I had the luxury of meeting you in DC and meeting Miles for that game in DC in some gym. It was a neutral gym. Going back home, what were the rosters? Where was it played at, of course, and then any memorable moments that came out that game for you?
Yeah, I got cursed out pretty good by Pam McGee, JaVale McGee's mama. She still at 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Oh, she cursed me out good because we kept taking JaVale out, because he was having trouble with DeMarcus, So she cursed me, don't you ever, ask him to play again in one of these games. Just rolled me so bad. James was by me, and James said, "Damn, man, I admire you. You took that." I said, "I got to, man. That's her son, So, but everybody was upset, and the thing in the locker room said we got to get them back to LA. They got to come back to LA. So Miles and those guys agreed to come out, and we got them out there.
So just staying on the topic of this 2011 lockout, which was probably one of the best summers anybody could have in terms of no NBA and just having our leagues, kind of exuberate that. My question to you is, was the lockout like one of the biggest breaks for the league and to become more mainstream, or how did you feel the lockout kind of played in Drew League's favor in terms of when that happened? And if this wasn't your biggest break, what was your biggest break if that wasn't it in 2011?
Well, I would have to say yes, definitely that was the biggest break because, as I mentioned before, we were on the verge of calling it because I was using a lot of my own money, and everything was kind of like, let's just get this done, finish up this year, and call it. Because at that time we were about into our 35th year. And
what year was this? Hey. What year was this, Dino? You were thinking about kind of like hang it up. What year was this roughly?
Oh, the same year, 2011.
Same year. Okay.
Same year, yeah. It was before the players started to migrate into the gym. We were, going through our games and stuff, and we just didn't have the funding to continue without me going into my pocket. But yeah, that was the one that really. And the thing about it, there was still no sponsor. There was no sponsor when Kobe hit that shot on James Harden. Could you believe that? No sponsor, but sitting in there was Peak Sports. Okay, Peak Sports was there. Peak Sports was there, and they came at us real hard, and and we decided to go ahead and go with them. Still hadn't heard from Nike, but about a week later, Nike pitched, but we had already signed with Peak Sports. But we only signed a 1-year deal with Peak Sports, and then after that, we went over to Nike. But that made Nike come, sponsors come, and it kind of put the basketball world on notice that summer leagues are here to stay, and they're gonna flourish, and don't just have to have. I mean, a lot of people were coming down to the Drew League instead of going down to Vegas for the Summer Pro League. Yeah, because where would you rather go? Would you rather go to watch free agents and rookies, or would you rather go down and watch James Harden and DeMar and all those guys play? So we were getting flooded. People who were in Vegas were asking about Drew League, and then they were migrating down to the facility.
So we had Miles on a couple of weeks ago. We were telling about the 2011 lockout. He said that he got your ass. But you got
it. I got his back, though.
You got his back. You got his back. So, yeah, I think 2011 for me, even though we weren't able to get those players to our league for that year. But in terms of, like, the leagues that were able to receive those players was definitely a nice shot in the arm. And it was a great opportunity to put street ball in the mainstream conversation. Do you feel that's changed for us in terms of that conversation now, Dino, or has it become a little bit more challenging? And when it comes,
I think it's It's good. I think we're in a good place. I think what we have to really do is capture this moment with the COVID.
Right.
We got to really come back with something. We I personally can't go 2 years. I think if I go 2 years, the third year we may lose it.
Okay.
Um, but coming back now, everybody's looking forward to it, especially with these summer leagues. NBA is going to be out, in the next couple of months, and this is the time to really take advantage of building that summer league and showing that showcase and making everybody feel good about the game.
Okay. One last question. One last question. I promise you, if I pass it to my partner, have you ever did a game with Venice Beach? Have there been ever talks or thoughts about that? And is that an idea potential?
No, we because there's what happened was there were a lot of leagues starting to pop up, kind of imitating us, with their announcers and the way they play. And we just never, we felt it wasn't good for us to play them. We usually want to play teams from out of the state
Okay.
or up north. We had a 2 game set with Seattle, because the thing about Venice Beach is a lot of their players play in our league, so it's not really seeing something new.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
and then so yeah, we hadn't looked. I mean, if we get in a tournament and they're involved, then yeah,
Okay.
we would.
Understood. Copy. Yeah, BG.
Nah, amazing. What will be some of your what's like? Give us three of your favorite moments in Jew League history, down to just maybe it could be something that happened during the game, something that happened leading up to a game, or just one of your fondest moments in the Drew League. I mean, you guys had a lot of special moments. So just give us the fans like three of your greatest moments.
Well, I think the number one. Well, let me put it in threes. I'll put it in threes. Um, and it's and it's probably those games. I think number three was KD coming down, and the way he came down. Um, I think social media was just really starting to pop then, and we were looking at our phones, and it says KD says he's heading to the Drew League,
Hmm.
and he came with no entourage or nothing, and the back door that leads directly into the gym opened up, and he stuck his head underneath and came in. I think that was a moment where we all just like, wow. And he was fully a 7 footer. He is not 6'10". He is not. That dude is 7 feet tall, man. He came in and I think that was just a special moment. And then a week later, like I said, we get a call from Baron Davis saying, "Hey, um, you know,
We got some love for
LeBron
you.
wants to. LeBron's got something for you,
Okay.
And so LeBron, yeah, KD just put on a show, man. He put on a show, and the next thing we know is these three black SUVs showed up,
Right.
and people getting out, and I'm still not knowing. And the next thing I know, LeBron gets out, man, and man, he's huge and he's cut. He looks like a refrigerator, man.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
his shoulders, and he comes in, and we just thought he was coming in to see, and then he asked, "Could he play?" And I said, "Yeah, you could play." So we took him in a little storage room and put him on a uniform that was probably too tight for him, but
Wow.
we get him out there and crowd going crazy, and then of course the Black Mamba decides he wants to play in the same gym. He said, "I want to play in the same gym LeBron and KD played in." So we had to make a game up in the middle of the week, like on a Tuesday night, and that was like right before we were going to DC,
Right.
and so a lot of the guys were there from DeMar and Darrell Wright and Rhino and all those guys, James Harden. They were all there because we were just going to work out, but then we decided we would do a game.
Hmm.
And when he came in, man, he came in to play, and it was unbelievable. we're in the hood, so we had the sheriffs on horses. We had the helicopter. We had the helicopter up top, and so when he came in, man, it was unbelievable. People were just, it was. Of course, that was the one, because everybody was totally in shock, thanking him for coming to the neighborhood and
Right.
the whole 9 yards, man. And I think those were the three best moments
Nice.
that we've had come through here through the neighborhood.
Talk to us a little bit about LaMelo Ball. I know LaMelo Ball played as well in the Drew League. He's doing really well. I know it was a lot of talk about him playing against adults, kind of seeing where he was at, and I know that
Yeah.
Drew League moment was really big because a lot of people want to see where he really was at, and I know from the highlight seeing it was a pretty special moment as well.
Yeah, well, the thing with LaMelo Ball, his brother Lonzo played a couple of times maybe about 3 years ago.
Yep.
Right.
And then LaMelo wanted to play, and his dad wanted him to play. And so we decided, okay. But we thought he would play once or twice and go. LaMelo played every game, and then also the family decided, I guess Lonzo's little girl birthday party was scheduled for 1:00, and LaMelo's game was at 2. So they asked that they play at 4. So we switched the schedule because they do the party, but they still want to play. So we did that, and yeah, that kid is super, man. He can do some things, and I knew when he got there, I said, man, he's playing against the Wares and everybody else out on this court, man, DeMar and all those guys, and he's holding his own. So yeah, he did very well, and then we got a call from LeVar 2 weeks ago. You know how he talks, right? Hey, Dino, I want to get my own team. I want my own team in the league. The triple Bs. They can see my 3 boys all playing again together since high school. You know how big that's gonna be for the league? You know how big it's gonna be? I said, all right, LeBron. I said, you want that? I said, I'll put a team in, but you gotta be under control, man. You can't be doing that Vegas stuff, screaming at people, throwing chairs and stuff. But yeah, so if things work out, then they're gonna get a team in, so
That's amazing.
yeah.
So
Yeah, the kid's got a lot of range. He's got range and he's got fire. He got a lot of fire, man. He plays.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
All right.
And one more question before Joe goes to. So as far as your league, right? How do you go about new teams, or just as far as every year, do you kind of keep the same core teams, or do you go based upon what's kind of demand for the league? So like a LeVar Ball comes and says he wants a team, that's high demand. How do you guys, having so much prestige, how do you maintain the nuances of the new teams or new fresh blood, or do you keep the same kind of core that you guys been having for the last couple of years?
Well, years before, we used to have those play-in games. And what would take place is if you were in the bottom 4 of the league, then we were bringing in 4 teams from the outside to play you. And if you let them get you, then you're out. And then that's the way we were doing it. But then we didn't have time to do it anymore. So then it became, okay, we're looking at your record, and we're looking at your team performance, because nobody wants to sit there and watch teams getting blown out by 30 every week. So we give you, if you're really getting your head handed to you, then you're gone in 1 year. If you kind of hang it in a little bit, we give you a second year. But it's normally like a 4 to 16 turnover, where teams can get in on the waiting list.
Okay.
So for the fans, can you let us know how long your league runs, what days and times, just so we can know? Yeah.
Well, normally, let's say if it's not COVID, the league would run the first weekend of June, until the third weekend of August, including playoffs. And they're played mainly Saturday and Sunday,
Mhm.
and maybe about four Friday night schedules are played, but mainly it's Saturday and Sunday, and it runs from June to the third week of August.
Okay. And where can? Well, I know that we'll get into that piece. I have one last question before we put you in the rapid fire section. LA basketball, right? How would you compare it to New York, DC, Chicago, and Seattle? I know you've been in pretty much all those areas.
Right.
I know you defend LA to the death you die, but just want to know how you compare LA basketball to the other cities that I mentioned.
You know, LA is a little bit different. They have inside, outside players, but I think on the East Coast, and it's mainly probably because you guys drive the ball very well. You get to the cup very well. I think you get to the cup much better than the LA players.
Right.
I think LA players shoot better if it's an indoor gym. They'll shoot better. They don't fare too well outdoors, so they're not out there. But I think as far as overall talent, I still think Drew has the LA has. We have players from everywhere, and that can't even get into the Drew League. So I think overall I would take LA basketball, but believe me, I went out to New York and Chicago, and I've seen the Phillies teams, and you guys. I mean, you guys are good. I mean, we're hoping, we're hoping. One of the things we brought up to Nike was let's get back to those tournaments.
Yeah.
We got to get the.
Yep.
You guys only did it. They only did it for like 3 years, 2 or 3 years, and they never did it at in LA. They did. I think what was it? Chicago and
And New York,
who
right?
was it?
I think it was
DC,
New
it
York,
was
right?
New York.
New York, and Chicago.
I know we were in New York for one.
Yeah, the tournament champions. I think when it's
Yeah. Hey, but let me tell you this though. I'll never forget this. We went to New York, right? Now, I don't know where that park was, but they sent us to this park, man, and made Watts look like Beverly Hills, man. I was like, whoa! And we didn't have no security, and we're just getting hounded because we coming from LA. I said, whoa, boy, this ain't too cool. And nobody was around. Outdoor court, cold, and just, I said, okay, they put us out here like this. And then we went to, we went to, was it Dykeman? I think it was Dykeman. And we warming up. And, them guys are screaming from the, from the bleachers. Yeah, hey, it's too like, yeah, y'all kill Biggie out there. Y'all kill Biggie. I said, man, I like Biggie. I didn't kill Biggie. I mean, it was just one of those. It was just when they was going off on us saying that we killed Biggie, and I said, oh man. But it was a different experience. It was I think because with LA ball, we're more into the presentation.
Right.
Let's make the court look nice. Let's make the backboard have signage. Let's do all this. Let's prepare. Yeah, we're soft in that way, and I know that. Whereas if we go, if we're not doing that, and it's just straight put the ball out there and let's go, then yeah, that's the difference to me. And the one-on-one and the handles, we're catching up, but I still would say New York East Coast ball is good with the handles. I like that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So this is a section that we're pretty much done with interviewing you, King. We want to put you into the commissioner corner. This is the opportunity to get to know you a little more. These are like rapid fire questions, so this is popcorn style. And also the rapid fire corner is also sponsored by Red Bull, so shouts to Red Bull on that. So quickly, I'll start, and then we'll go. Me and BG will ping pong. I'll put you right in the spot. This is like rapid fire. All right. Who did you enjoy most to watch live? LeBron, Kobe, or KD, and why? Got to pick one.
Kobe.
And why?
And the reason why is because he was LA Laker. He was LA Laker, and a lot of people could not get to those Laker games to see Kobe. So with the ticket prices, so definitely Kobe. Definitely Kobe.
Go, yeah.
All right. What is your favorite shoe to wear on the court? I guess I don't know if you're still playing, but off the court, what's your favorite sneaker to wear?
My favorite sneaker would probably just be my what's the name of that dog sneaker? Air Force One.
Air Force Ones.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
comfortable, very comfortable.
Let's go with best hip hop, R&B, or rap album for you to listen to all time. What's
Mm.
your go to music?
Shoot, my go-to music is Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
The music is good and the performance is great, man. I love Snoop Dogg.
Is there an album or a particular song that you go to or you like the most?
Uh, the song I like the most probably is what's that one? Snoop Doggy Dog, where the dogs he's turning into a dog. It's an
Okay.
old one.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, B.
Who would you put? We going back 1973. We in 2021. Who would you put in your Mount Rushmore
Mm.
of Drew League history?
That's 4 players.
4 players. Okay, I'm gonna take away. I'm gonna take away Kobe and LeBron. Them they didn't play enough.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna say Drew League history. Um, I'm gonna say Casper Ware Senior.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say James Harden. James plays regularly.
Nice.
DeMar DeRozan and Baron Davis.
Whew.
Jesus.
Nice.
Wow.
That's tough.
Okay. Favorite movies, shows, or any sports documentaries you like of all time?
Favorite sports documentary. I like Hoosiers. Favorite shows? Any shows, comedy or stuff like that?
Any show, yeah.
Well, and if that's the case, any show, Chappelle Show. I like Chappelle Show.
Classic.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that would be it.
All right, so me being a New Yorker and BG being a New Yorker, what's the best spot to dine in LA that you recommend, and the best spot to chill up at after hours in LA pre-COVID?
Best place is probably a couple. You probably want to do, of course. Depends on what you. I mean, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles
Mm-hmm.
would be one of the main ones, and then I would probably say for a nice dinner,
What's
the
your go-to, Dino?
Cheesecake Factory.
Okay.
Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, I love Cheesecake Factory.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite city to visit outside of LA pre-COVID? What's your favorite city you like to visit? What's a state?
Well, I'm heading back that way in a couple of weeks, but I love Vegas, man. You can't beat Vegas. It's always something to do, and you can chill. You can go out, and it's open 24 hours a day. So I love Vegas.
Nice. Man. Well, Dino, man, I appreciate your time. I know we could be on for a long, long time. Just let everybody know he's on the East Coast, so this is a 3-hour difference. I just want to commend you, Dino, on the work that you've done and you will continue to do. Just let you know on behalf of me and my brother and my father and BG to let you know that you a blueprint to this business, and without you and people like Greg Marius and people like that who kind of paved the way for people like ourselves to kind of carve a niche in this industry, it wouldn't be without you. So I just want to make sure we give you your flowers and tell you thank you for all you do. We admire you. I admire you. And I know every time I have an issue or idea, you pick the phone up for me. So I got mad love for you and just want to make sure that we set that tone right tonight.
Sure.
Appreciate it, man. I really enjoyed this, man. And you guys keep up the good work. You guys doing great things.
Appreciate it, man. So that's Dino Smiley. Please check him out on Twitter at Drew League and on Instagram on Drew League. He is the co-founder, commissioner, whatever you want to call him, the ambassador for LA. My friend, my compadre, Dino Smiley. Thank you for coming on tonight on the Commissioner Corner podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys be safe, man.
Thank you,
Take
man.
care.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you. Have a blessed night.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. All right, man. So another one in the
Basketball
chamber.
royalty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
basketball
basketball
royalty.
royalty. I at some point in time I was just drifting and just trying to be in that space where I kind of felt I need to be at when he was speaking about it.
Right.
But truly a humble dude. I'm glad that he was able to
Right.
share time with me today on this. And this is a quick story. I didn't get a chance to tell him, but I remember when we was back with I think it was like a weekend tournament where I met Kenny Bruner, and I think it was like a Adidas showcase, whatever. We all came together, Chicago, LA, New York. It's my dad, Dino, Lefty Boy from Chicago, and we all like trying to win this weekend tournament. And it was a great scenery. And ever since I met him since that day, it was him and my dad clicked. And then ever
Right.
since ever since that day, he's been able to reach out to me and check on me and just kind of make things innovative for us to look at, right? Because how they were doing this in LA, we would try to mimic ourselves. So I just want to give
Right.
him a big shout out and salute to how he's impacted me and impacted the game of basketball and turn the street ball here in New York.
No, for sure. No, definitely. He's a huge ambassador, pioneer. Pillar in the basketball culture. When you talk about longevity, starting from 1973 up until now, and to still have the respect and to still have the demand, for his league and for what he's doing.
Right.
It's amazing, because guys like us, especially your dad and that paved the way, we kind of admire those people
Right.
and we try to, mimic them respectfully. You know what I mean? And
Right.
because at the end of the day, that's what you're chasing. You're chasing to
Of
be
course.
the best and you're chasing to be and to have that longevity.
Hmm.
So it's good for not only us, who are people that's doing it, but for the next generation of commissioners to come to just
Right.
see guys like that, and to see how humble they are, and you can see that it means a lot to him to do what he's doing for the community, you know.
Yeah.
So it was great, man. It was great,
Yeah.
Jules. It was amazing.
No doubt. Biggest takeaway for me and you, I guess, in terms of the names he mentioned, that's going to continue to keep me hungry, and I think
Oh yeah, for
that's the
sure.
opportunity tonight to kind of understand his trials and tribulations, but also the successes that he was able to be rewarded and deservingly of. So I think
Right.
that our time is coming. I think that
Oh
we're gonna
yeah.
receive those benefits, and guys like Dino and Miles and Nick on the West Coast that do a great job. We want to make sure that we salute them.
Yep.
Coming up next, next couple shows, we're gonna hit the LA market. I mean, hit the New York City market in terms of our commissioners, and try to branch off into Philly and try to get a couple of Chicago
Mm,
guys out there. So we are
nice.
working on this. Do note that we are getting prepared for our spring and summer sessions.
Yes,
So
sir.
please stay patient with our content, as it may not be as consistent as it was before, but it will be
Right.
out there. So, but we thank you. We want to remind our fans to click subscribe to our online social media platforms, so you can find the Commission Corner podcast on
Hit that like button.
SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple. Please click the like button. We're trying our hardest to bring the best content out there, so please do that. Also, you can find us on YouTube, and this show will be also on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. You can find us there on YouTube. On that note, we're going to close out on behalf of my partner, BG, on behalf of the best producer in the world, Randy Cruz, the Cruise Control Podcast Network, the Commissioner Corner. I am Joe Cruz. We salute to you. Thanks, Dino, for coming on our show tonight, and
Dino.
we'll see you real soon. Have a blessed night.
Yes, sir.